Coming to you live from our studios here at Kokomlemle in Accra. This is Joy Newsroom. I am Beverly Broom. Coming up this hour, Niger's coup leader proposed a 3-year transition of power after meeting an ECOWAS delegation led by Nigeria's former Chief of Defense Staff, Abdul Salam Abubakar. Also, police launch investigations into the death of a 5th Infantry Battalion soldier following what military officials say is accidental discharge of his rifle at its base and ammunition depot near Michel Camp Saturday. And later on in the bulletin, Spain defeats England 1-0 in the final of the Women's World Cup. We are live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, and on myjoyonline.com. Please stay. I am Beverly Broom. We settle for details now. Niger's coup leader has proposed a 3-year transition of power after meeting a delegation of West African leaders and warned that any attack on the country would not be a walk in the park for those involved. General Abdurrahman Tichani, speaking on national television late on Saturday, gave no detail on the potential transition, saying only that the principles for the move would be decided within 30 days at a dialogue to be hosted by the ruling military council. Meanwhile, security analysts have advised against the use of force. Listen to conflict and security analyst Prof. retired, and Professor Kwesi Enim, Director of Faculty of Academic Affairs and Research.
But there are 3 member states, i.e. Benin, and then Côte d'Ivoire, and Senegal, who to me are not democratic. So therefore, they cannot be part of a council that decides to restore democracy when they have either been undemocratic or have demonstrated non-democratic credentials. So that is the bottom line. The cause would be just if those saber rattling or the jingoism is done by those who have come to court with equity and have shown that their hands are clean. There are hands in the ECOWAS Council that are not clean. Point number 2, all the noise about where are we going to find the resources, the money to fund the intervention budget. Until today, ECOWAS has not told its citizens, granted that we are talking about democracy, the citizens of ECOWAS who have reposed authority or power in the hands of their leaders need to know. Remember, ECOWAS Commission is only a body that is like a secretariat to manage the affairs. So where is the money going to come from? It's not about who have the money or who find the money. We need to know where the money is coming from. Because ordinarily speaking, the ECOWAS Peace Fund divided into 3 windows, window 3 being for the kind of activity that we are going to engage in Niger, it's not strong enough. And probably that is the reason why purportedly or allegedly, Ghana paid 5 million into the fund. And I'm told, again, allegedly, that Nigeria paid 20 million.
The military intervention option, it's a necessary tool in the instrument box to give ECOWAS this gravitas and to nudge the regime in Niamey to come round the table. So it is a necessary tool, but it will not be used. That's something I can bet you a bottle of Lagavulin each. Because what ECOWAS is trying to do is to invent, I can see those beautiful smile. That is really very useful, to calm all of us down. ECOWAS is trying to regain a bit of the credibility that it has lost by inverting the conversation. That, okay, yes, now we have put the military in place, but the regime says they want to talk, and therefore we will give them that. The regime in Niamey already started signaling their willingness to speak more than a week ago, when the Emir of Sokoto went to visit and they indicated that there's a conversation. Because of the tendency that our elders don't make mistakes and they don't apologize, I am happy that at least we seem to have some leeway towards negotiation. That is.
However, government says it is proceeding to contribute troops to the ECOWAS standby force, despite calls by the majority side to seek parliamentary approval. ECOWAS yesterday stressed that they will send security intervention to Niger and announced that it has agreed on a day to do that. The minority has insisted that the government needed to get parliament's backing before joining the ECOWAS security intervention in Niger. Minister of Information Kojo Oponkruma disagrees with the opposition.
Ghana here that suggests that Parliament is being ignored. In fact, on the 21st of August 2023, the Ministers of National Security and Foreign Affairs requested to brief the Joint Committees of Foreign Affairs and Defense and Interior on the developments so far and what Ghana was considering. You notice that in my brother Sami's submissions, that came later. It was not front-loaded. The front-loaded submission suggested that Parliament was being ignored. But here in Ghana, we have briefed at our request, not at our invitation, at our request, the Joint Committees of Foreign Affairs and Defense and Interior. Again, the suggestion that Article 75 requires some prior parliamentary approval or ratification is incorrect. Article 75 is about treaties and agreements. It is not about contributing to a multilateral engagement, because when you have a multilateral engagement, as has happened in times past, and I can give you a whole retinue of times when Ghana has been involved in multilateral engagements. 2002 in Cote d'Ivoire, 2013 in Mali, 2016, 2017 in Gambia. If it is a multilateral engagement from a body that Ghana is part of, you do not require prior approval, but the decent thing to do, the important thing to do is to engage Parliament first, so that you do full disclosures to Parliament about why you are, a part of this enterprise, what the risks are, how you are mitigating them. And of course, if some financial commitment is required from the Treasury, you will need to get the kind of approval for.
But should Ghana contribute troops to the ECOWAS standby force to Niger? Joy News conducted a poll on X, and this is the results. So we asked the question, should Ghana contribute troops to the ECOWAS standby force to Niger? And the answers we got, so with yes, we got, after 2,200 votes, for yes, we got 10.5%. For no, we got 83%. And I'm indifferent about it. We got 6.5%. So that's the results we got there. We'll pick some few comments from there. Mahoney said, our country is sick and we must think about ourselves. Young dear says, no. Facts GH comments with the Governor of the Bank of Ghana's photo. Ghana's biggest enemy, number one, is this man and his cohorts, not Niger. Well, moving on, the Ghana Armed Forces regrets to announce the death of a soldier from the 5 Infantry Battalion, Private Bayu Roja, as a result of a suspected accidental discharge. And we'll read a statement from the Armed Forces, and it reads, the Ghana Armed Forces regrets to announce the death of a soldier from the 5 Infantry Battalion, Private Bayu Roja, as a result of a suspected accidental discharge. Private Bayu was part of a platoon for Southern Command performing duties at the base ammunition depot near Michel Camp. The sad incident occurred Saturday, 19th August 2023. to the third paragraph, and it reads, a team from the homicide unit of the Ghana Police is collaborating with the military police to investigate the fatal incident. GAF takes this opportunity to express its deepest condolence to the bereaved family, colleagues, friends, and loved ones of the deceased soldier. But we go back to the second paragraph of the statement, which reads, preliminary investigative reports indicate the soldier was seen sitting on his bed waiting to relieve his colleague at a duty post at 8 hours when his rifle went off, hitting him under his chin, killing him instantly. The body of the deceased soldier has since been conveyed to the 37 military hospital mortuary. And signed by E. Agri Kwashi, Brigadier General, Director General, Public Relations of the Ghana Armed Forces. Moving on, democratically elected governments must not be removed through unconstitutional means. These are the words of South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, who has condemned the military takeover in the Republic of Niger. The South African government says it is activating measures to repatriate 22 of its citizens caught in the diplomatic row between West African sub-regional body ECOWAS and the military junta in Niger, who have threatened each other with a military standoff, raising fears of a possible full-blown war in West Africa. The president was making a brief statement on his expectations as the BRICS summit kicks off in South Africa. Blessed Suga reports from South Africa.
Of South Africa says it is bringing back home 22 of its nationals who have been caught up in the escalating tension between the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and the military junta in the Republic of Niger after the democratically elected President Mohamed Bazoum was deposed at the end of last month. Cyril Ramaphosa has been indicating the position of his government, stating that democratically elected government should not be removed through unconstitutional means. The South African president says he supports the intervention plans by the sub-regional body ECOWAS. It is unclear if that is a tacit approval of the decision by the Economic Community of West African States to use military force to restore constitutional order in the Republic of Niger. In the meantime, Cyril Ramaphosa says he's in talks with the Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is the chairperson of the Economic Community of West African States, to ensure that there is a return of constitutional rule in the Republic of Niger. He says he'll pursue that through the framework of the African Union.
The military intervention? Yes, we are extremely concerned about what is happening in Niger. The other day I was walking in the street and I met a young woman who told me that her boyfriend, South African boyfriend, is trapped in Niger. And she said, President, can you do something to bring my boyfriend home? And I said, yes, we will bring your boyfriend home as we bring the 22 others, because there are 23 South Africans there. We are concerned about that coup and we condemn it. We firmly believe that democratically elected governments must not be removed through unconstitutional means. ECOWAS is firmly seized with this matter, and through the AU we will support the efforts and the interventions that they seek to make. But as South Africa, we are talking to the leaders of ECOWAS, and just the other day I was talking to President of Nigeria as well as other presidents. So we are keeping a very close eye on that.
Well, the South African president is making these statements ahead of a crucial summit that is scheduled to be held here in South Africa, together with their BRIC allies, which includes the likes of the Federal Republic of Russia, which the Economic Community of West African States is accusing of sponsoring the increasing spate of military takeovers in the West Africa sub-region, with the latest being the Republic of Niger, where the Wagner forces have been contracted to be a part of the support base for the military junta. It is unclear what statement President Cyril Ramaphosa will make to the Russian government, but he says that in the coming days he will make his foreign policy position on these matters known. And we're waiting to see if that will be made at the summit here in South Africa. Blessed Sogan reporting for Joy News, Johannesburg, South Africa.
Now, some residents of the Toulon district in the northern region have called for the immediate transfer of 4 top management members of the Toulon hospital to end what they called corruption and mismanagement at the facility. The residents named extortion, absenteeism by doctors, and poor management of the facility, among others, as the reason they want them transferred.
The Toulon District Hospital is the second hospital in the northern region. In less than 2 weeks, residents have called for the transfer of their top management team, accusing them of mismanagement. A similar case resulted in the chasing out of office of the medical superintendent of the Bimbula Hospital and his colleagues. Addressing a press conference in Toulon, the assembly member for the Toulon electoral area, Mohamed Abdul Samed Chengpang, named some cases he said could have been averted if the management of the hospital had lived up to expectation.
On the 2nd of August 2023, when a midwife of Chifoil Keep compound called on behalf of a client named Abdullah Azara, a labor for agent attention, she was told Dr. Kane, meaning doctor was not around. The ambulance service could not reach TTA, and she joined her anti-sisters. Same happens to Botanle, Zel Botanle woman Shirazu Mariam. She was referred to TTH. She has also passed on. This case is present in Sagane. May the soul of these veterans rest in blossom. Zanjina Zala in Toulon, who narrowly escaped her death but lost the child after having detained in labor for 39 hours. Waiting for doctor. That was on the 28th June 2023. She has recently been discharged from TTH. Furthermore, the case of Mohamed Alima, a 67-year-old woman with thoracic case, admitted on the 11th July 2023, sustained on oxygen for just 5 days. When she was to be discharged, the family was charged 5,000 Ghana cedis. I had to come over and intervene before it was reduced to 600 with active NHIS cards. Interestingly, with this woman case, I had to momo an officer 60 Ghana cedis to bring the officer in charge of X-ray from Tamale to the facility to do his own mandatory job, of which he is paid monthly. Last but not the least, the dismissal of some selected casuals who worked for almost 16 months since 2021 without due compensation. These misgivings continue to wane the trust of public.
Mr. Chentuwene said the youth of the area will hit the streets if the Ghana Health Service in the next 2 months does not transfer these officials.
These people we are targeting, we are looking at for an agent transfer are Dr. Osman Abdullah, who happens to be the medical sup of the Toulon District Hospital. Madam Idrisu Hairia, the accountant, Misa Isa Aminu, the storekeeper, and Madam Adam Zainab, the administrator for District Health Management Team Office. I believe strongly, even if this engagement was not considered as a tool for overhauling in the Toulon District Hospital, these people would not have gone, inshallah, scot-free for the innocent life their actions have caused this district. Ladies and gentlemen, the law of karma really works. I hereby plead before the management of the Ghana Health Service to, as a matter of agency, get these officers transferred after a comprehensive forensic audit is conducted. We shall hit the street if our request is not accepted within 2 months.
Right, you're still watching Joy Newsroom with me, Beverly Broom, on the Joy News channel. We do some other stories now. In Reshaping, work has started on the 3.8-kilometer Bong barrier to Michelle Camp Road after a strike by commercial drivers on August 14. The strike left residents stranded at lorry terminals with drivers' demand of road repair. 4 days later, the Kpong Katamanso Municipal Assembly has begun reshaping parts of the road, but residents and the drivers maintain they want a permanent solution. Carlos Caloni reports.
Welcoming the grading work by Kpong Katamanso Municipal Assembly 4 days after their strike, which left residents stranded at various lorry terminals, Chairman of the Kpong Barrier Taxi Drivers Union, Rexford and TMO, maintained they expect all enclave roads to be graded and asphalted.
First of all, I thank him once again for the good work that he's doing. But that is not all. As he said that they are only tagging on this Kpong barrier to Michelle Camp Gate, I will plead that the rest of the road, that is high tension to Yellow Sandboard, Bediako Junction to Bediako, I'm pleading on him to do something amicably for us. And also, if you can see right now, the gutter is the problem now. So we are pleading on them if we can get a backhoe to remove the gutter inside. You can see that right now the water is passing through the road, and if something is not done amicably, the road will be useless. What they're doing now, it will not be any profit now.
Meanwhile, some shop owners along the stretch see the municipal assembly's reshaping works as futile, since road problems will persist regardless.
With the road, what they are doing, I don't think it will help, because this road that is generating a lot of income for the country, and the road have to be fixed in a good shape, so that it can make business become more easy and this thing for the citizens. Because with this, it's affecting the shop though. Yeah, because of the dust, too much dust is affecting our product over here, and some of the things are going bad, especially some mental stuffs. When the dust enter, it's not good for selling again. This won't help. It won't even take up to a month before it will start generating another problem again, because these heavy duty cars, they normally use this road. These tanker cars, they normally use the road. So with this is not the best solution.
You can see yourself that the more they are doing it, the rain surface is spoiling everything here. Not even the rain, where the sun shines, all the dust will be coming inside the gutter again. That's the thing that have been choking the gutter. And if the gutter is choked, I don't think when it rains, the rain will go to the main gutter. It will spread all the roadside, and the roadside will be full of frost, and I don't think this place is going to be okay for us. So they have to do the gutter and the road for us.
The assemblyman for Mlechakpo electoral area, Isaac Newton Tete, notes that though refreshing, the community will still deliberate on roads in the enclave due to governmental neglect.
For us to see strips of laterite and then subsequent grading, it means that authorities have listened or heard our plea, and they have in a way met our request in a way. But then this is not what we wanted. We want an asphaltic overlay across the entire stretch of the road. And sometimes it's also very disheartening to hear from the sector minister to tell us that the government have no plans for this. Sometimes it's very heartbreaking. So we are accepting this for now. But the real deal will come in the subsequent days, because myself and the stakeholders, including the residential associations, we're going to call for a town hall meeting. If it demands that we do this road ourselves, we can. Because if you take the 17-kilometer stretch of road from the runabout to Mutual area, the company, the BHM, we can contact them. We also have Inzang at the other side of the N2. So we'll meet them and see what they also bring on the table. If they are kind of bargaining, will be in interest of the community, and we know we can afford, we will lobby the various homes and the companies to see if they can come and help us fix this road, because government says they have no plan for us now, and we can't wait till the next year or next budget to do that.
While Kpong Katamanso municipality has been a strong contributor to the country's internally generated funds, over 70% of its roads are impassable. Drivers remain watchful, ready to resume their strike if roads aren't improved. Carlos Caloni, Bone Barrier.
Now we go back to our previous story where some residents in Tolon district is demanding for the transfer of 4 top management members at the Tolon district hospital, and they're accusing them for mismanagement of the facility and corruption. Thankfully, we have with us Dr. Osman Abdullah. He's the medical superintendent of Tolon District Hospital. Mr. Osman, if you can hear me, are you aware of the concerns from the residents?
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your cherished listeners. Yes, actually, my attention was drawn to a supposed press conference that was held yesterday by some group of people from Tolon. And I got hold of the copy of the press conference. In fact, that's the first time those issues have been made known to me. Yes.
Well, they have given you a 2-month ultimatum to solve the problem. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, so actually the issues that they have raised, I've gone through them, and what I can say is that they have to actually come and bring out the issues so that we can discuss them, because most of them are just mere allegations, okay? And from my check at the Regional Health Directorate and the District Health Directorate, they haven't submitted any petition or any complaint of that sort to them for us to look at. Because the hospital doesn't operate as a vacuum. It serves the community, and if there are issues that the communities have with the hospital, it's only proper that they take up due processes to get them addressed.
But Dr. Osman, the people are also accusing your staff of absenteeism. Is that also not true?
It is absolutely not true. The issue is that the hospital runs 24-hour services. And at any point in time, you should have an officer or officers, being at post to attend to patients. As we speak now, I'm even in the facility attending to what you call it, citizen. You can send your team around to come and verify whether, like, there are times where you come and there's nobody around to attend to you or not.
Thank you so much. Dr. Osman Abdullah is the medical superintendent at the Tolon District Hospital. Moving on, Apostle Professor Opoku has challenged the African youth to embody the change they desire, beginning with their own resources rather than relying on states for change. The former head of the Pentecost Church said when he spoke to Joy News after a forum in Accra to discuss matters affecting national service personnel organized by the SALT Institute. There's more in the following report.
Over 200 national service personnel gained insight from the one-day public lecture hosted by the Sandalos Advanced Leadership Training Institute in Accra. The event centered on the theme Technology and Transformation, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, and its significance for Africa's transformation. The Institute's Director of Strategy, Mauli Kofi, emphasized that the initiative aimed to boost Africa's knowledge capital and foster continental transformation.
We believe that the bedrock of transformation is knowledge. We have a strong belief in the youth because that's the future of the continent. Now, if you start changing that now, by the time they get to the level of making policy, they will appreciate the importance of how policy should inform the generations after them. So our first entry point is the youth, because the mistakes of the older generation will repeat them if we don't reprogram and recalibrate the thinking of the young people. So even policy, the way it is now, the old generation may see nothing wrong with it, and it will be difficult to change them. But the young generation begin to see that, no, if we want to transform this continent, we should have new and different policy. Trust me, in the next 15 to 20 years, all the people that are making policy now will be gone. People that we are coaching and mentoring now will be the ones in charge. And we have to start reprogramming them to have a mind shift that can apply when they come into power.
The former head of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Opoko Onyina, emphasized that rather than waiting for the government, young people must be proactive and take initiatives.
The youth must begin with what they have. You see, we talk about systems and say that we must go around the systems. We have to struggle. So don't sit down and rely on the policymakers. You do what you are doing, whilst also the policymakers are being challenged to give opportunities to the young people and give them the instruments, the equipment, the resources that they need to be able to kick up and support the system. However, the young people must begin from where they are, have an attitude of changing the system, and beginning with themselves, not going with the status quo, the taking of bribe, they see one another, go through the loops, and you see God opening opportunities for them.
Renowned Kenya entrepreneur Julian Kuyala, however, urged African governments to take measures to deal with the phenomenon of brain drain on the continent.
It's heavy. I mean, a lot of people are moving their companies to markets that are welcoming them because of tax, preferential tax treatment, citizenship. They're being allowed to change their citizenship and get dual citizenship in another country. They're being allowed to pack their technology in another nation, and because of that, that causes countries to lose very important. Can you imagine if Twitter or if an Elon Musk came from Ghana and had to leave Ghana to go set up elsewhere? He's holding 4 Ghana's or 3 Ghana's GDP. Why should we lose an individual who could completely change the tax bracket of an entire nation? We must encourage those people are going to come. The next Elon Musks are from Africa. The governments must catch up and make sure those Elon Musks are not going elsewhere.
Several lecture beneficiaries shared their key takeaways.
He clearly talked about our legislation. We need to try to make them understand or see our point of view when it comes to our innovative ideas.
It's a great lecture we had today, and I encourage all the youth to be very courageous, to take up leadership positions and also believe in themselves, believe in their ideology. It's very difficult to break the system, but with togetherness and courage, we can also pass through the system, and at the end, we also see ourselves at the top.
I believe they are ahead of us in terms of age, knowledge, and skills, and they've shared quite a number of skills and impacted knowledge into us that we can use to build a better future, not only for ourselves, but the generation coming under us as well.
Reporting from the Accra International Conference Center, my name is Carlos Caloni for Joy News.
You're still watching Joy Newsroom with me, Beverly Broom. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Minister for Local Government, Decentralisation and Rural Development, Dr. Dan Kweku Boche, has admonished municipal and district chief executives over the mediocre implementation of the social $150 million social cohesion project, stating that it can't be business usual. Speaking at the opening of a 2-day retreat for critical staff of the various municipal and district assemblies in the Upper West region, he lamented the failure of projects that have been initiated by government in the past, but which have not yielded the desired result. He noted that the SOCO project will proceed and will not allow anybody to frustrate it. Joy News' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Japa.
The 2-day retreat, organized by the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council, brought together critical staff of the various municipal and district assemblies in the region, including municipal and district chief executives, coordinating directors, and their opposite members at the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council. Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz Bin Sali sets the tone for the retreat.
This retreat is an opportunity to learn and a platform to exchange ideas and build networks that will strengthen our collective efforts. Let us take advantage of this environment to engage in candid conversation, forge partnership, and live with a renewed commitment to our roles as catalysts for progress.
Minister for Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development, Dan Kweku admonished the duty bearers to prioritize projects that will improve the living conditions of the people.
We cannot fail our people. We cannot. People have come, played their part and all, but we cannot fail our people. I have lived in very rural areas in Ghana. I've seen what people need at times, basic things. You are the reps of the central government. And it's so important and it's so crucial that you also determine what is important for you. And you prioritize and satisfy the needs of the people. Whatever you are doing, this workshop, other meetings you attend, all the paperwork you do, at the end of the day, we should execute programs that will improve upon the living conditions of our people.
Dan Bocho also spoke about the $150 million loan acquired by the government for the social cohesion SOCO project. He observed that despite the sea of projects that has been implemented by governments over the years, coupled with the support of some civil society organizations, not much has changed in the development space of the northern Gulf of the country. He warned that the SOCO project should not go as previous government projects.
And please, it cannot be business as usual. It should be different. Making sure that there's inclusion and making sure that the people understand and own the project so that it will be for their benefit and it will help address poverty. And so, as we talk about this and the further discussion that we are going to have, I expect you that all these monies are loans. The people are going to pay, our children are going to pay this money. It should be put to good use. So who cannot frustrate the system? I will not also allow you to frustrate it.
Head of Local Government Service, Dr. Nana Atuata, urged them to manage the municipal and district assemblies as corporate bodies where they will see citizens as clients and not beneficiaries.
For instance, somebody comes to your office. He is coming to follow up on his building permit. You, the engineer, you, the fiscal plan officer, creating director, didn't come to your office early. The person comes there early. You come late. Instead of even apologizing to the person, or you come here too early. You who is late.
Dr. Atuata was not happy with the attendance of some staff of the assemblies to work.
Then you every week you need to go to work. You do what? What is in work that is not in Java? What is in work that is not in Laura? Staff, you work 2.5 days in a week. And at the end of the month, you are the first to go to the bank. On 23rd, 24th, you are there. Although you know you work about 10 days in the month. Why? That is not right. Creating director who should be reporting, the creating director himself or herself went, he's not back. How would he be able to report? So how would the chief executive work?
Director General of the Internal Audit Agency, Dr. Eric Odro Osai, advised internal auditors to collaborate and work in unison with the MDCEs and the coordinating directors to prevent irregularities.
The internal auditors gathered here, your role is to advise and prevent. Do not allow your chief executive, your coordinating director to fall into a big trap before you write a tall audit report and you come up with infractions. That is not necessary. Yours is to advise. Yours is to preempt. That is why we are moving away from conventional pre-auditing to risk-based audit. By risk-based audit, you do a risk assessment of the issues. You advise that chief ABCD. Chief, this is what we have to do. There are things that we can avoid. When you read the Auditor General's report, absence of receipt, no monitoring report, no this. These things can be resolved internally.
Reporting for the news, Rafik Salam, Jirba.
Now, Nadwoli Kalio District Director of Health Services has expressed worry over the increasing cases of perinatal deaths in the district, calling for support from all stakeholders to help tackle it. The district for the first half of the year has recorded over 20 perinatal deaths. Speaking at a short ceremony by the Nadwoli District Assembly to hand over two community-based health and planning services compounds at Ombokara, she described the situation as alarming, calling for all shoulders to be behind the wheel to tackle it. Join us is Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Ombokara.
But the people of Ombokara is having access to quality health care. Residents of this twin community have to either walk or transport persons who need medical care or motorbikes, tricycles or cars to probably the nearest health facility at Kelio, which is several kilometers away from their community. A community-based health planning and services CHIPS compound that was started several years ago had its construction stalled, bent on having medical care at their doorstep, and as a stopgap measure, a school block that was constructed for the education of their children was rather converted into a clinic to provide primary health care services for the people. They also provided free accommodation to the nurses working at the mixed structure until the CHIPS compound was completed and handed over to them. The Nodulu Kelio District Assembly, led by its Chief Executive, Catherine Thierry Lankono, concerned about the plight of the people, came to their rescue and completed this construction together with another Asamatugu who are also facing similar challenges.
I met about 7 old projects that I have worked on. This about the last batch 1. So we've worked on all. This is a health facility that is very dear to the hearts of the people because of where they are located. There is a distance to the Kaleo health centers and also a distance to Tebane or Jang. So it is very paramount. It's covering 2 communities, Ombo and Kaha, and for that matter, the population is huge and they deserve a health post. Right now, I think we are reducing the traveling distances for healthcare. But due to the population increases, we are further reducing it so that we don't have a longer distance and waiting period at our health centers. So, for instance, the Samatigu, they were benefiting from Sankana Health Center. But because of the population increase, we have decided to give them their own health center. So, we are still going on and on. We'll make sure that health and education, which are very paramount to my administration and the administration of the MPP government, we are going to continue to bring it to the doorsteps of the people.
Nadudo Keleo District Director of Health Services, Phoebe Balagunyantimi, was grateful to the Assembly for handing over the CHIPS compounds to the communities, which he said will aid in disease prevention and promotion.
So now having a structure like this is going to enable the healthcare providers to now move into a bigger space and have a more, convenient environment or congenial environment to provide services. So in terms of healthcare, our worry as we speak now has to do with access to maternal and child health services, disease prevention, and this is about disease prevention and promotion. Because now we are seeing a lot of what we call the non-communicable diseases. And I must also say that for my district, we are beginning to record a lot of cancer cases.
Let's do business now. The Volta Regional Coordinating Council, in partnership with the Association of Ghana Industries, has launched the 6th edition of the Volta Trade and Investment Fair. The fair, which is themed Leveraging the African Continental Free Trade Area for Economic Development, is slated between 26th November and 10th December 2023. Speaking at the launching hall, the Volta Regional Minister, Dr. Archibald Lecha, said the fair seeks to promote industrialization to nurture the region's private sector.
The 3rd edition of the Volta Trade and Investment Fair would provide a platform to promote goods, services, arts, culture and tradition. Speaking at the launch in Ho, the Volta Regional Minister, Dr. Archibald Lecha, said the Coordinating Council is envisioned to promote industrialization in the region.
Our mission as a Regional Coordinating Council is to create a productive local economy where citizens participate in growing the economy. This means we are set to nurture the private sector as a productive unit of our local economy. Our goal is to recreate a society with bigger private sector. As an entrepreneur, I personally tried it, and I can assure you it works. Concurrently, we are creating an economic environment that ensures the growth of our local industries and enterprises. However, we wish our investors to find a high-skilled labor market. This is the rationale behind the training of our teaming youth in the acquisition of skill development to enable them to turn our huge economic potentials in the Volta region around.
The Kenyan High Commissioner to Ghana, His Excellency Eliphas Barin, lauded the theme of the fair, which he said conforms with the vision of the African Union.
I'm delighted that it is anchored on the continent's vision. This year, African Union theme is leveraging and accelerating the realization of the ACFTA. And therefore, any conversation that is going on around the continent that is not anchored around the expectation and delivery of the ACFTA in a way is off the mark.
The United Nations Development Programme Resident Representative, Her Excellency Dr. Angela Lusigi, asserted that the Volta region has the potential to benefit from the African Continental Free Trade Area Initiative.
Now, the Ga people have kick-started the annual Homo celebration. The vibrant festival is meant to celebrate victory over hunger. Homo is translated as hooting at hunger in the Ga language. It is a time of immense joy, gratitude, and reflection where the community comes together to honor their rich heritage, commemorate their migration, and give thanks for a bountiful harvest. One of the essential rituals of the Homo Festival is the preparation and consumption of a particular dish called bukwe. Bukwe is made from maize, palm nut soup, and other ingredients. And that's how we enjoy Newsroom this afternoon. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I am Beverly Broom. Have a good afternoon.